The head coach at the University of North Carolina in Asheville is my dear friend, Honey Brown. And I don't know if Honey actually knew what she signed up for when she agreed to be a part of 24 Hours of Nothing But Net. But Honey, you are a great teammate.
Oh, great. It's awesome. I'm just excited to be part of it. I've watched it for a few years, been a big fan, donated to the cause, of course, and just, glad that we can be a part, and just such a great cause. And, thanks for doing it and having us involved.
Well, as you know, North Carolina is one of the 6 other states that jumped in with South Carolina, and the money that is raised in North Carolina stays in North Carolina. And UNC Asheville, your team, Mike Morrell's team, you guys have been the anchors in that state. And I just want to know, like, how's the planning going? Like, how are you feeling about next weekend, how are you feeling about May 14 and 15?
Oh, I'm feeling good. It's fun to be part of something like this because it's new and exciting. And I know for you, even though you do it in multiple years, it's still exciting to know how you're going to put it all together. So we've got a great group of people that's, making phone calls and doing different things just to try to get some great people besides our staff being part of this event, because again, like you said, the whole point is to raise money. So you want to make sure you get some great folks in our area, in the Western North Carolina area, but even across the state that's going to participate. So it's been exciting making phone calls and get people to jump on board.
Well, I know what a busy time of year this is for coaches, and I know you're busy trying to put your roster together and get your staff ready and planning whatever you're going to do in the off season to get ready, camps and clinics and all the things that you're busy with as a basketball coach. What's it been like for you right now during this time of year in May? Because a lot of coaches are talking about transfer portal and name, image, and likeness and trying to put your schedule together. There's so much going on. Like, people think that you guys have a break now and it's as busy as in season.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to a little event the other day with a welcoming for a neighbor, and I had a neighbor that said, "Is your job year round?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is year round." And that was but it's funny because when you're in this dynamic in athletics all the time, people understand your schedule and what you're doing. But some of the other folks outside of this, they have no idea like what you do on a day to day, or like you said, when you're not in season. But you brought up some of the biggest things that you're working on right now. Of course, transfer portal, we're all trying to kind of work in that, just because that's just a big dynamic of what you're working through right now. And, some of my mentors, a couple of them have retired now. And so they're not as great a resource in this capacity because they haven't dealt with the transfer portal and how to manage it.
Who has, right?
Right, exactly. So it's one of those things that you're trying to work through. And also, our men's Coach Morrell, had a great point the other day. It's a little bit harder to build relationships. Like, I'm a very relational coach, and you want to bring in the right people for the right reasons and not just talented players. And so you're having to kind of speed date folks a little bit more. And so that's a whole new realm, because, when you're recruiting freshmen and other people, you get to know them over time. And this is a little bit different, but this is just the state that we're in now when it comes to recruiting. But I do think some of the recruits that are in the transfer portal are asking better questions, and they know what they're looking for a little bit more. So even though there's not as much history there, I think they're asking better questions than they were maybe a year or 2 years when they were making their first decision. But transfer portal staff, like you said, just, making a few things and interviews and stuff in that respect. Just, working through other areas. Our players just finished exams yesterday. So getting them set for their 5 weeks while they go home, just because they'll keep working out and doing things, of course, but our strength coach will be on top of that as well. But a lot of pieces here and there, but always have time for great events like the Nothing But Net.
Well, it's kind of I don't want to say like it's our responsibility, but we sort of do have a responsibility, because you mentioned some mentors, and I know you're a good Tennessee girl, and I know that you've got to have countless numbers of stories about your interactions with Coach Summit. I think about Pat Summit and Kay Yao every day. And I think about, this event with Frankie, because they both, Pat and Kay, both knew Frankie. Mm-hmm. And Frankie actually had a chance to spend a lot of time with both of them, especially Pat, swimming in her pool or hanging out in the gym, going to camp and shooting hoops and, stuff like that. When you get a chance to reflect on your relationship with Coach Summit and growing up in Tennessee, and you think about how we're supposed to be stewards and servants of the game, doesn't it feel like they're kind of, I don't want to say, you know, they're looking down on us, but don't you kind of feel like their presence is involved in an event like this?
Oh yeah, I think they're with you. I think they're with you because they've always been with you. That was what was so great, I think, about Coach Al and Pat and so many others, is that they didn't look at themselves. They were such an icon and a mentor and, you know, this huge person to me, but they never came across that way to people. And they were all, you always felt that they were with you instead of I'm above you. And I think that's, you know, you make a great point. I think they're very much with us today, still, you know, guiding us and helping us do things the right way, because I felt like they always did that. You know, I wish I had even a great relationship with Pat. I was around her a few times and did some things. I actually rode in her Mercedes once to a tournament when I was at my first year coaching college, when I was at UCF, and got to ride with her to a tournament. And I'm sitting there watching players, and she's got people coming up for autographs, and I'm just like, wow, this is,
It was probably like, hey, you get in the back seat, you're going with us. She did that to me one time. I was walking, she rolled up and she said, hey, where are you going? I said, I'm going. She's like, get in.
Yeah. It was awesome, and made an extra stop just to pick me up so I could go to the tournament in Greenville. But you know, those are pieces. Went to her camp, like you said, like Frankie did. So it's one of those things, like you said, I think you're stewards of this. If you're trying to do things the right way, then you're going to make time for things like this and other people and young folks and young girls and boys, and because it's what they would have done, and it's why they are who they are, and it's why they continue to impact not just this game, but multiple facets in this world because of who they were.
So honey, you have allowed me to be around your team. I've gotten to know your players a little bit, and you have such great quality of character, and I know you got some great kids there, and I can't wait to see some of the young ones, especially that freshman class, grow into sophomores. So you know, like, they're going to be shooting, like some of them are shooting. Some of them are signing up for the wee hours of the morning. How are you able to get them to buy in? Like, was there a buy-in, or did they just feel like this is something we should be doing to help out? Because we haven't gotten to Hunter yet. And I know Hunter, who I've already interviewed for the live stream, is a big fan of yours.
Yes. Hunter Davis is just a huge, he's Mr. Bulldog, you know, Bulldog through and through, you know, comes to practices around the office. He's actually here today, just one office over, just hanging out. But he is he's around our players. You know, our players spend some time with him. And I think that it was easy to, for some of our players to want to get on board with this cause, not just because of him, but just because, again, they understand their platform. We talk about that some from a character piece, that, you know, who much is given, much is expected. And so, you know, understand that you are a person someday that somebody was looking up to. And so now it's your turn to give back. And I think them meeting you and you being around them too, and you being so passionate about this cause, was easy for them to understand, hey, I can get involved too. And it doesn't take a whole lot except for me just having great energy, come out, shoot some free throws, which they need to be shooting anyway. They come out and shoot some free throws. And we checked it out compliance wise. As long as I'm not instructing them, it's clear for them to do. But I was proud of them for signing up for the early morning. I mean, that's more their time zone, I guess, but they were all about the 2 or 3 a.m. slot. I'm like, okay, here we go in our pajamas. Let's do it.
I love it. It's great. Well, we are so excited, 24 Hours of Nothing But Net and Special Olympics North Carolina, that you guys took the lead on this. I know the state of North Carolina and the executive director, Keith Fishburne, and his staff, Susan Doggett, those people are fired up about this event. And in our first year, I think we're going to do some really good for Special Olympics in the state of North Carolina. I know what we're doing in the state of South Carolina. Minnesota, Rhode Island, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas are the other 5 besides our states. And I just can't wait to see how this event continues to grow and evolve, because I can tell you what a difference it makes for Hunter Davis's family and his ability to compete and train, and what a difference it makes for families like mine, honey. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I'm excited as well. And we want to grow it like you have every year. So we're, going in, excited this first year. And I'm sure we'll make some mistakes and do some things that we're like, oh, we should have done differently. But I'm excited to get going and excited to hopefully be part of it in future years for sure.
It's a great compliment that someone like you would want to put your players signed up for an event like this and to help us make a difference for our own communities. It's exceptional and it should be applauded. And I'm grateful for your time. Thanks, honey.
Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate it.
Mike Morrell is the head basketball coach at UNC Asheville and a good buddy. Mike, thank you so much for being on 24 Hours of Nothing But Net. This live stream just keeps getting better and better, man.
Well, I must be the last one then. If it just keeps getting, I must be on the tail end.
Look, you've done such a great job in building your program out there, and I'm not sure if you understood exactly the task that I was asking you guys to participate in for the state of North Carolina, but man, it's a lot of fun to shoot free throws, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. Now, I free throws is about the only thing in my playing career that I can actually tout. So I'm glad it's not a rebound, 24 hours of rebounding, or I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Well, rebounding for you would be just taking it out of the net, so that's not even going to work up a sweat.
Oh, no, I'm excited to be a part of it. I know everybody here is as well.
Yeah, it's a really important part of helping build better community, right? And nobody knows that better than you guys. You have Hunter Davis, who is a young man living with Down syndrome. I've already interviewed him. I mean, Hunter's a rock star up there at UNC Asheville. I had to get him on the live stream. What's it been like to have Hunter around, and how has he influenced you?
Well, he influenced me about 10 minutes ago. He almost fell asleep on my couch right over here. So I had to yell at him to get him wake up a little bit, but just unbelievable perspective. I mean, he's just first, he's a joy to have, and when he was one of the first people, along with his mother Kelly, that I met when I came here. And he is, the thing that I learned about Hunter is you better be able to take the good with the bad, because he's going to give you his honest opinion, his honest feedback.
There's no filter there, no filter.
No. And if the result didn't go the way he wanted it to the night before, then you're going to get his analysis on that particular result not going his way. But I think it's awesome, for us, but also for our players, because they interact with him a ton too, and just to see the joy that he has, not only for UNC Asheville, but for basketball, for life. I think he affects and gives us such a better feeling having him around than we could ever do for him.
Yeah, there's no question about it. There's no filter, and there's a lot of normalcy that comes with somebody that has special needs. I mean, I don't think people realize that, their goals and aspirations, they have dreams. Hunter wants to work. He's working in the athletic department there. He wants to have a job. He wants to be involved. He wants to be included in things that you're doing. And you guys do an exceptional job of allowing him all kinds of access. Like, he's probably a pretty good scout for the other team if somebody really tried to get after him a little bit.
I can tell you this, Debbie, there is no one here that is harder on our players than Hunter. No one. Just the other day, we were talking about one of our particular players who's a really good player, but not quite there with Hunter yet. He's still got a couple more jumps to make. But no, I mean, it's awesome to have him around, whether it's, him doing his tasks or him helping us with ours. There's a lot of times he's just sitting in here with me and my staff. And again, I think in college basketball in particular, which is what we're speaking about, that's our realm. It's just awesome to have him around, because at the end of the day, he loves what we do. And he loves our team unconditionally. Again, he's just been such a gift for everyone around.
Well, part of the theme of what we're doing here, Mike, as you know, is it's not about the free throws. It's about, building team and building some consensus around trying to make communities better for other people. Certainly you're doing your part, not just with Hunter, but by participating in this event and helping the state of North Carolina, which is, greatly going to serve your local community by the amount of money that is raised and the amount of awareness around Special Olympics. You've had an extensive background that has involved some of the great basketball people in our game. When you start thinking about team and start thinking about some of the intangibles around trying to build this event and some of the things that you're helping us with, what are some of the things that come to mind for you about your past or your past experiences?
I just think, Debbie, there's so much, especially, and there's a lot being made about, college athletics and how much it's changed over the last. I mean, I became a head coach 4 years ago. I'm 39 years old. It's almost unrecognizable from when I did. And there's a lot of things that if we wanted to, we could spend all day worrying about. We could spend all day losing sleep on. But I just think, through things like this, through the perspective that I know here at Asheville we have, is just like, try to do the best to control the things that you can control, knowing that you're not going to be perfect. And for me, like, that's probably the one thing. I mean, we got the portal, we got NIL. I mean, we got all this stuff that we could spend 24 hours talking about. Yet we're just trying to be the best versions of ourselves right here. Take a guy like Hunter. There's so many examples. Like, let's just try to be the best version that we can be. If we could do that individually for each person, then we can really try to do that. Now let's try to be the best UNC Asheville basketball team we can be. But it really starts with us. Journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And so, again, I just think there's so much, and I don't want to term it bad, because I don't think it's all bad, but there's so much time that we could spend talking about the things that need to be changed or whatever. And sometimes we really, we don't focus enough on the good that we're all trying to do. And we're not perfect, but we're trying. And my thing right now, Debbie, there's a guy named Denny Kuiper, is like, let's have a little bit more self-compassion for ourselves, because I know we're doing our best here. And so, there you go. I'm soapbox. I didn't know I was going to jump on my soapbox.
Hey, I like it though. I mean, but you're a Tennessee guy, you're an East Tennessee guy. You've grown up in an area that it required team and it required effort from other people. And we're just trying to build a village here around Frankie, and we're using our story. It's not the free throws. I mean, I care about the free throws just because I want to shoot it at a high level so that the story can be told at a higher level. That's the only reason why it matters to me. And when you start thinking about, like where you came from, Mike, and perspective is a good word. Like what resonates with you?
There's a lot of, I'm not supposed to be here in a lot of ways. And so, I think there's some ways we're kind of playing. Some days I feel like I'm playing with house money. I mean, I played NAIA basketball. And so I was just really fortunate, again, to be around some unbelievable people. And when I say fortunate, I mean lucky. And I was at Clemson, Debbie, and I can't remember what year Clemson life started, but I remember I was there when it started. And that took an awesome idea from someone. I don't know who it was. And it took what you said, building a village. Probably that idea came from somebody. Well, that's too hard to do. Well, no, actually it's not. And so now look at what that has become. That happens a lot with our career, like, hey, I want to be a head Division I college basketball coach. You say that when you're 20 and somebody's like, well, wait, no, that's too hard to do. Well, wise man once said, everything you want's on the other side of hard. You just got to be willing to go get it. So, I think for me is just that, trying to take my experiences, as I'm a small town, small college guy, but when people ask me where I'm from, I gained 10, 15 pounds and grow an inch just because I'm proud of it. And so, that's something I'm passionate about, but this is my home now, so I'm no less passionate about it here.
Yeah. And what a great community to live in. Like Asheville is just amazing to me. It continues to grow. You have great support around your program. you keep evolving as a coach. It's hard to believe that you've already been a head coach for 4 years, Mike. You're so young in the profession. You have so much to look forward to. What is next? Like what's going on in your mind? Like what do you want to take on next?
Yeah, I mean, again, our game is evolving so fast, and here we've gotten better each year, Debbie. We when I got here our first year, we won 4 games. That had nothing to do with me or the person who I was following. That's what we found. And we've gotten better each year. So we've done a really, really hard thing. The next thing for us is to do the hardest thing. And again, that's winning a championship, which is something we've yet to accomplish. And that's the expectation that I have. And that's why UNC Asheville is such a great basketball program, because it's been the expectation before me. It's the expectation with me. It'll be the expectation long after I'm gone. And, because it is such a great place. We've got an unbelievable arena and facility because the people that came before me. And I'm hoping one of them is going to actually shoot free throws, Coach B, because he's had more to do with it than anyone. I'm going to make more free throws than Coach, though.
Yeah,
I promise you that.
Yeah, Eddie Biedenbach, if you're going to put a number on how many free throws Coach is going to make versus how many you're going to make, I think the odds are going to be in your favor.
No question. I'm winning that one.
What a great guy. What a good man. What a good ambassador for the game. That's for sure. So Mike, I know that your team is invested in getting involved in this as well. And what was it like for the guys? I mean, are they using Hunter as their inspiration, or was it a hard sell on your part to get some of your people involved?
No, not at all. And I think, the experience that they've had with an event like this is Hunter. And because he is around so much. I mean, if he's here, he comes to practice every day, and he's watching, and he's taking mental notes. I don't know that he's taking his notes on any notepad, and willing to share at any time. But he just brings a lot of joy. I mean, he really does. And one thing I know we focus on Hunter a lot, but his family is unbelievable. I mean,
right.
Kelly and Randy, they're unbelievable. And just not just supporters of the program, but just supporters of our people in general. And that's no question. I mean, that's the first thing our guys are going to think about. I just hope they make a high rate of free throws to do their part.
Oh, I know they will. I know they'll take care of their business. As a parent, Frankie's mom, right? I know how different people stimulate Frankie in other ways. And to have, and speaking on behalf of Kelly and Randy, to have someone like you and Honey and Janet Cohn, the AD, around Hunter, and knowing that you can trust dropping him off. He's going to get some work done. He's going to have some fun. He's going to, keep you guys on a level playing field with his opinions about what he thinks should and shouldn't be happening with your program. I know Hunter, that's the way he is. And I love that spirit about him. It's so great to see Hunter's spirit and your spirit, yours personally, and UNC Asheville's just combined to be able to help us with this event, Mike.
Well, it does a lot more for us than it does for them. And, I think that's the beauty of having a relationship. Because I think, like, what we do is we find in any relationship we get into, whether it's me and my mother or whatever, you learn about people. You learn how people function. You learn how, and so for our players, that's everything. Like, get a degree, but there's nothing more important than that, and so we are the beneficiaries of the relationship with Hunter.
All right, Mike. So I know you're a good recruiter. So if somebody's watching the live stream right now and is listening to you and knowing the story of UNC Asheville basketball and their commitment to their community and helping Special Olympics in North Carolina, recruit me one more donor.
There is absolutely nothing that you can do in the next 7 days, 7 months of your life that will be any more impactful than helping this 24 hours event out. And just so you know, I say this in recruiting all the time. Like, I think sometimes I'm so honest in recruiting that it hurts us in some ways, because I don't want there to be any surprises. So for anybody out there, this is genuinely something that, you know, Debbie, I didn't know you really well a year ago now, but seeing your passion, it affects me. And you've got one more donor from me right now. So I just recruited my own self. So boom, there we go.
There you go. That's sweet. I love it. And I'm recruiting season ticket holders for you every chance I get. All right, Mike, thank you so much for being with us. I just love our friendship, and I appreciate your support so much.
Yep. No, thank you. And thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to being a part.